Happy holidays everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We have come to that point of the year where everyone is making New Year's resolutions. How am I going to show up in the coming year? What decisions am I going to make that are going to make this year the best year of my life? And probably you're wondering, why is off-brand Ice Spice on my feed? And the thing is, if this video is finding you, it's because you are making decisions. It might be the end of the year, the beginning of the year, the mid of the year. Whatever point in time this video is finding you is because you are trying to make decisions. And what off-brand Ice Spice is going to answer in this video is it possible to make the right decisions all the time? And the answer to that is a simple yes. And the next relevant question is, how do you do that? And so I'm going to answer that first by starting with a personal story. I'm not really sure how examinations are held in other countries, but in my country, we have 3 significant national examinations when you are in the schooling process, from like primary school all the way up to high school. And this is the 7th grade, we have a national examination, the 9th grade and the 12th grade. And so the 7th grade determines if you move on into the 8th grade, and the 9th grade determines if you move on into the 10th grade, and then the 12th grade determines your entire life. I'm kidding, obviously, but that's what we're told, I guess. It determines which universities you get into. That's the 12th grade. And so I had skipped a grade and written my first national examination, which was the 7th grade. And I had already had a picture of the school that I wanted to get into. This is basically like one of the Harvards of schools in our country. I was so excited to get there. I had prayed about it. As I was writing my examinations, I said, God, this is the school. Like, this is it. This is where my journey is supposed to take me. And I wrote those examinations and I passed. And by the grace of God, I was selected to go into this school. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that I hated my experience at that school. I had very few friends. I had very few good experiences. The whole thing, not to be dramatic, was quite traumatic. I really didn't even know why I was at this school anymore. And I spent 2 years there, obviously. Now it was time for the second national examination, which was at the 9th grade. I wrote it, and sadly, I wasn't picked for first selection for the school that I was at. I was picked for second selection, and I was picked for first selection at a new school. This school had just started. No one was there. We were the first intake that was going to be there. As grade 10s, there was no one above us, and the only other grade that was below us was people who had written their grade 7 examinations and were now in grade 8. I went there with my mom for a tour, like, is this a school that you want to go to, or maybe you'd like to pick another school? And so we went there, and I was really scared going there. I was like, what if I don't like this place? What if the environment is not good? So I got there, and we go into the school hall, because that was the first building that you get into when you go to the school. And I found people like cleaning up, fellow students, of course, who had already been there, and so they were helping out with the cleaning process. And I saw someone who I had been with at a former tuition center when we were studying for our exams. She was also from a different school, and she came up and she ran to me and she hugged me. And that was not a lot, but it was quite significant for me to become comfortable. It was significant enough for me to become a little bit comfortable. And so we started the tour of the school on that note. We went to the dormitories, we went to the cafeteria, we went to the offices, we went to the classes, we saw everything, and we're like, oh well, you know, it's cool, it's okay. But just based on that hug and the tour of the school, I was like, okay, this is where I want to go. And so time passed, we came back, and I was left there, and I started to build a community. And then it was time for the second selection from my former school, and my mom came with one of my dads, and they said, we have to take you back to the other school. Do you want to go back? And I said no. And it was really a convincing session, like, you have to go back. And I said, I am not going back. I am done, okay? And I want to stay at this new school with absolutely no ratings. Like, no one knew how badly or how well the students would perform, because we were like the experimental intake. And I decided I was going to stay. And it just so happened that at this school, I made connections and friendships that are probably going to last a lifetime. I became prefect. I joined clubs that spoke to me and my interests and my beliefs. It was the best schooling experience that I have ever experienced in life. And to top it off, I got really good grades on my national 12th grade examination that I could get into any university of my choice. And so since then, I have been trying to get back to that point where I made that decision. What did I do? What did I see? What happened that I made such a great decision based off of unproven data, right? The logical and seemingly right decision was to go back to Harvard, but I decided to go to community college. So I had been trying to figure out what confidence did I have to know that everything would work out. And ever since then, I have been trying to find that confidence, but I just couldn't find it. I couldn't understand what I did. And since then, it was really hard for me to make decisions, starting from small daily decisions all the way to really big decisions. I just couldn't make them. I had gone through so many options when it comes to what degree program to study. The whole spectrum. I had gone through it. And I was wondering, why could I not make good decisions anymore? Until about some time ago, I came across a video by Dr. K, the healthy gamer. If you don't know him, I highly recommend. And so I was watching a video. In fact, it was just a short video. And he was talking about people that make decisions, confident people to be specific. And he was saying confident people are not making the right decisions. And I was really taken aback by this. I said, what does he mean by that? Confident people are not making the right decisions. Of course, they're making the right decisions, right? That's why they're confident. But he said confident people are not making the right decisions. It just looks like they're making the right decisions because it's not about the decision that they made. It's about what they do after they made the decisions. And I was like, wow. That was deeply profound for me. And he went on to give examples of Indian arranged marriages. You don't really have a choice in the person that you marry, but you have a choice in what you choose to do with that union. You say, this is what I've been given. These are the cards that have been dealt. How do I make it that this thing is the best thing possible? And basically what he was saying was that we give so much power to making the decision when really the true power lies in what we do with the decision that we have made. Confident people are not sure they are making the right choice, but they know what to do with the choices that they have made to make them right. And then this gave me the final piece that I have been looking for, why I made that great decision. I realized that I didn't make the right decision at all. I just made a decision and I made it right. I realized that when I was going to the school that was equivalent to our Harvard, I took it as destiny. I saw it as everything's now going to fall into place. I don't have to do anything. This is where I'm supposed to be. Everything will fall into place. And everything went wrong after that because I wasn't putting any effort into my experience there. I had a bad outlook on the classes. I had a bad outlook on the clubs that were there. I just wasn't having a great time. But when I decided to go to this new school, I started to decide on everything. I decided on my experiences. I decided to start making new friends. I decided to get into clubs that spoke to me. The electricity just went out, but we move. Is that better? So I was very, very, very intentional about my experience at this new school. And that's when I understood what people have been trying to say when they talk about the grass is not greener on the other side, it's greener where you water it. It is so true. So ever since then, I have been trying to practice just making a decision and now making that decision the right decision. And right now, let me give an example. I could have chosen to do this video or I could have chosen to go and watch TV. It doesn't really matter what I choose between the two. It matters what I decide to do with the two. If I had gone to watch TV, I would have said, let me learn something from watching the TV that I can share. If I had decided to do the video, well, I'm sharing this with you. Decisions themselves are very, very neutral, but it's what you decide to do with the decision itself that makes it a great decision. And this removes so much stress from your life. The point is that if you are struggling between two decisions, it means both of them have advantages and disadvantages. And so whichever one you choose, there are going to be benefits and there are going to be cons. And whichever one you pick, you can make the best out of it. The only right decisions are the decisions that we work on. And that is the most empowering thing you will hear as you are going into this new year. The reason why I named this video Planning to Fail, if that's what I have named it, It's because this year, myself included, I hope you don't pay attention to the things around you that you want to change, but rather, who are you when everything else doesn't go to plan? What do you do when that happens? Because that's the situation that we find ourselves in every single year, and that's the reason why we give up the beginning month of the next year. It's like nothing is going how I want it to go, and so I give up, and the momentum goes to change everything, and so you start waiting for the next year again. It is not about the next year. Nothing about the next year is going to change, but who are you going to decide to be no matter what is happening around you? And that is what making the right decision is. It is deciding to make every circumstance the right circumstance for you. And so if we focus on that, the motivation to do things that are leading up to our dreams will never diminish. The right decisions are only the right decisions because you choose to make them right. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to help me get my grandmother some dentures, and I will see you in the next video.